So I don't know if you guys noticed, but the channel went through a bit of a rebrand. You're seeing a different banner up above. You're seeing a new profile picture. It's all looking a bit more sleek and streamlined. I've gotten away from the F1 font, and I got this new song going. It's pretty good. So what is going on, you angry Altmars? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well wherever you are in the world. Now, this week, yet another laid back, chill, relaxing, maybe controversial video this week. It's not going to be ranty again. It's going to be nice and fun. I actually got this idea from my F1 content creator friend, F1 Dorney. She did this a couple weeks ago, and I was inspired to do it myself. And also, it's really easy to do, and I'm lazy, so probably shouldn't have told you guys that, but I just did. Basically, we're going to be doing a tier list for the 2020 helmets. I have a very strong passion towards helmet design, much like I do livery design, and some of these ones are big lookers, and I've made a tier list, and let's have a look and see what's going on. So here's the list. Here it is in all of its glory. I've got a custom category section here because the classic, tier list categories are S, A, B, C, and D. So I kept that, but you can see it's a bit more fine-tuned to the channel. So number one S tier is hashtag Seb WDC 2020 because he's going to win. We all know that he's going to win. Doesn't matter how far back he is now, he's still going to win, and that's our S tier. A tier is A, Pex F1, because that's me, that's the channel. B tier, which is kind of the middle of the road, is Buoke, because we all love our friend Kimi Raikkonen with the Buo, and any helmet that ends up here is Buoke. Original, I know. And then C tier is crying C over Mercedes dominance, because aren't we all? We respect them. We have lots of respect for the fact that they've been so successful, but at the same time it makes us cry because we just want to see someone else win. And then D tier, you guys know I hate diagonal lines. So anything that is gross to me ends up in diagonal lines because the helmet is just as gross as diagonal lines on the car. You guys better know that by now. All right, so we're just going to go in alphabetical order because that's the easiest way to do things. Mr. Alex Albon. I gotta say, when it comes to Red Bull and AlphaTauri lids, they're going to be lower on my lists because not to any fault of the drivers, it's just the fact that Red Bull and AlphaTauri just force the drivers to make the main color schemes the color scheme they want them. The drivers don't have much freedom in terms of helmet design, but I am going to give Alexander Albon a Buoke because it's fine. Like, I like the color scheme. There's only so much he can do with that helmet, and it's Buoke. It's fine. And now we've got Mr. Robot Man, as we saw in FP1 today. Valtteri Bottas. Love this helmet. Ever since he debuted it, I think he's had a very similar design since 2017 when he joined the Silver Arrows. It is a good looking helmet. I love the color scheme. I love the little hexagonal design all over the place, and he really makes the Monster Energy fit in. The color scheme works well together. It's really easy to make green look bad with certain colors. So, Mr. Valtteri Bottas, you're in A, Apex F1. You should be honored to be in the likes of my status, so you're welcome. You're welcome. And now moving on to Mr. Pierre Gasly, another Red Bull / AlphaTauri lid. Honestly, this is a really good looking helmet. I do enjoy the color scheme, but my biggest problem is the fact that AlphaTauri force him to have that massive AT logo on the side of it. It's fine. I'm going to put it in the same category as Alex Albon's because it's fine. It does the job. It doesn't make me cry over Mercedes dominance. It's okay. And now coming on to Antonio Giovinazzi, I might catch some heat for this because I really do not like this helmet. I get that it's supposed to be the Italian flag, and of course he's Italian, so that makes sense, but there's just something about it that just doesn't do it for me, and it just looks really kind of lazy and bad. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to be putting it. It makes me cry over Mercedes dominance, so sorry, Tonio, but not a nice lid. And now we have Romain Grosjean. It's gross. It looks like it's on fire, I guess, which is kind of cool, but the color scheme is just way all over the place. Not good. I do not like it whatsoever. Honestly, I'm going to put it in the same tier as Giovinazzi, but lower in the tier. If you guys don't know, the closer the helmet is to the end, the higher it is in that tier. Grosjean, you got an ugly ugly lid. And now moving on to Mr. Lewis Hammer Time Hamilton. I have his original one here that he debuted at the beginning of the season. Couldn't find a picture of the black one. Still rate it very highly, and I would put it in the same category that I'm putting his original one right now. Love this color scheme. Going to the just straight purple. I didn't like the yellows and greens that he's been using in previous years. Love the purple. Looks so good with the green. Absolutely beautiful lid. And I'm going to put it in the same category as Bottas's, but just closer to the end because I actually think his is nicer than the Bottas's. We're going to go with that. And now we have a special entry, an honorary mention from this list. Nico Hulkenberg drove 2 races with Racing Point when Sergio Perez tested positive for COVID-19. He's now back in the paddock, but Hulkenberg, for his second race in the car, had a helmet. And it seriously just made me extremely happy inside. This helmet is so good. It's the very similar design to the helmet he had back in his Renault days with the lightning bolt and the sun coming out of that kind of circle where the visor tilts from. This is one of my favorite helmets of all time. He just completely made Perez and Stroll's helmet designs look horrible because I've always thought that you couldn't make a good helmet with the Racing Point car. It's too much pink. But man, this thing is really nice. I really do enjoy it. It's actually going to go in my S tier. Just saying it. One of the best helmets on the grid. Let's move on. So Daniel Kvyat. It's the same. It's the exact same as Gasly's. I don't know what else to say. So you guys have like the exact same helmet and they're both boring. So you're going in bouquet. Bouquet? Deal with it. Nicholas. You have such a beautiful flag to work with. The Canadian flag, in my opinion, and I'm not biased. I am not biased. It is one of the nicest looking flags in the world. Now, you have that to work with, and you make this. If there's extra meaning to it, sure, fine, I'll give it to you. But just from a complete third-party standpoint, it even has diagonal lines, so it belongs in diagonal lines because this thing is hideous. Nicholas, use the Canadian flag somehow in your helmet design in the future, please, because this is gross. Now we've got Mr. Charlie Leclerc. Charlie, I feel like he doesn't like being called Charlie. We're going to call him Charles Leclerc for now. Ferrari is another team that really doesn't let their drivers play that much with helmet design. Maybe a bit more than Red Bull, but still not that much. I think Charles's helmet is fine. I like how his logo is kind of all over the place on the helmet. I've always liked the Kaspersky logo as well. It fits in nicely with helmets. I think this thing is fine. I think it's going to end up right in the middle of bouquet at the very end, actually. So it's in my highest end of bouquet. And then we've got Kevin Magnussen, the Haas boys. You guys have such a nice livery and color scheme to work with, and you make this garbage. Come on, why do you have the backwards K? Are you in grade 2? Like, did you forget how the K goes? I don't understand. It's really bad. And it's going to end up actually just in between Gio's and Grosjean's. I think it's better than Grosjean's. Not as good as Gio's, but still just makes me cry. Still over Mercedes dominance. Ooh, and then we've got Mr. Lando Norris. Oh, I've always loved this helmet. It's a very similar design to what he's had since 2019. And keep in mind, I'm not doing any of the special lids. This is just going to be the base helmets that they started the season with. But this thing has such a different, unique color scheme, and the design just looks cool. And all the iterations he's done of these helmets over the past 2 years have just been so mint. And it's going to end up in my Apex F1 tier, ahead of Hamilton and Bottas. I think it's nicer than both of theirs. It just misses out on S tier, but it's looking pretty good. Now, if you watch the helmet ranking video I did with Joe from the F1 Club, I will link that in the card up above. You'll know that I hated Esteban Ocon's helmet because it's disgusting and the helmet is gross and it needs to stop. So this also diagonal lines tier. It also has diagonal lines. That's just a coincidence. I'm not trying to do, but I just don't like the color scheme. It just doesn't look good. He has such a good base to work with and then just makes this. Come on, Esteban. Perez, you can now see what a good helmet for your team looks like. Hulkenberg did it. Now you need to do it, because this thing is also going in my diagonal lines tier, in between Ocon and Latifi. What's going on? It's so busy and so hectic. I don't understand what's going on with it. You've had a very similar design. I understand that for such a long time, but it just doesn't work for me. I'm sorry. It's going in diagonal lines tier. Now, Perez, look at this helmet from Kimi Raikkonen, the Iceman. Very similar kind of inspiration, kind of philosophy to the helmet, but it actually looks nice because he stuck to a decent enough color scheme. It didn't overuse all the colors. Kimi, this is very ironic, but I'm putting your helmet right in the middle, come on, of bouquet. This is your quote, this is your tier, solid helmet, looks fine. Now I know this is a very polarizing helmet coming up next. We've got Mr. Daniel Ricciardo. I know a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people preferred last year's over this year's. Ever since he went to Renault, he's now had some freedom to make his own helmet designs because, as we know, at Red Bull, very locked down in terms of what he could do. Now he has all the freedom in the world. 2019 was one of my favorite helmets of all time. This one, while definitely being a step down, I don't think it's as bad as most people are making it out to be. Yes, it's got that leopard print on it, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's very subdued. It's not the main part of the helmet, so I can live with that. I love the little squiggly threes all over the place. I love the way the actual three looks like. It's kind of 3D sticking out of the helmet. Honestly, I'm going to put this one at the very top of bouquet. I think it's really nice. It works really well, and it's just below a PEX F1 tier. It's just right there. So moving on, Mr. Georgie Boy Russell. To be honest, not a huge fan of this helmet. It's fine. It looks nice. I like how the predominant color is the red and the visor is orange. It's bouquet. Honestly, I'm going to put this at the very end of bouquet, just before the AlphaTauris. It's fine. You could do better, but it's fine. Oh, and now this is where things get interesting, okay? Before Nico Hulkenberg's helmet came out last weekend, Carlos's had my favorite helmet of all time. Like, this thing is stunning. It is beautiful. But then Hulkenberg's came out, and I find it is actually a better looking helmet than Sainz's. However, I am still going to put Sainz in Seb WDC 2020 tier, just below Hulkenberg. But that thing is just such a looker. Also, have you seen the one for the Spanish Grand Prix this weekend with all the black? Looks hot, looks really good. I love how the Spanish flag is just so like digitized and all over the place. It looks so good, but Hulk's is just that one step better, but whew, hot. Now we've got the other Canadian boy, Lance Stroll. I know it's very hard to tell on this image and the tiny image you see here, so I'll throw a couple images up on the screen that are higher resolution, but he actually does have some Canadian, inspiration in his helmet. There's little outlines of Canadian flags that when the light catches the helmet right, you can see, the maple leaf looks really nice. And I also don't mind this helmet. I know a lot of people don't like it. They think it's boring. But honestly, I kind of rate this helmet. It looks really nice. I like the shade of pink he went with. It catches the light really nicely. And the shade of blue he used as well looks really nice. I also do like his logo. It doesn't look that bad. I'm going to put this right between Ricciardo and Charles Leclerc in bouquet, because it's bouquet. Now I'm going to break my rules. I think that this Red Bull helmet from Max Verstappen actually looks really nice. I feel like they let him play with his a little bit more because he's Max Verstappen. He is the future of that team and a future F1 champion. Take my word for it. I love this helmet. I love the way the two lines come up from the jawline. It really looks really aggressive and angry, and it looks like a very intimidating helmet to look at. So I'm going to put this actually in a PEX F1 tier at the very bottom, just above bouquet, but it is a solid looking helmet. And now we have a helmet that ever since he joined Ferrari and he's had this design, he's stuck with it, and for good reason. Sebastian Vettel, this is an absolutely iconic helmet that we will remember for such a long time. At least I will. and all the iterations you've had for special Grand Prix have been so good looking. I am going to put this very fittingly at the very bottom of Seb WDC 2020. We're going to see it on the top of the podium and the top of the on the driver's standings. You're going to see it. He's going to win the championship. Take my word for it. I know I'm going to be wrong, but still, it's going to happen. So there it is. There is my tier list for the 2020 F1 helmets. You guys have it now. You know exactly how I feel about these things. I will be sure to put a link to this tier list in the description down below. So if you guys want to, you can fill it out on your own and then actually tweet it to me at the Apex F1. Let me know what you guys think of this list in the comments down below. And don't forget to lick the stamp, send that subscribe button, click that little ding ding notification bell, and drop a like if you really liked it. Don't miss the Apex. Peace.